You wake up tired, not because your body is weak, but because your mind has surrendered. You scroll through dreams that belong to others, while your own dreams rot in silence. You say tomorrow, but tomorrow is a liar. It only repeats your excuses in a different sunrise. Laziness is not rest, it's rot. It's the slow death you don't even notice. It kills the fire in your chest before you ever learn what your power feels like. It tells you to wait while your future bleeds out in front of you. You were not born to spend your life watching others live. You were not designed to settle for average. Every time you hit snooze, every time you say later, you train your soul to give up. And one day, you'll look in the mirror and realize you didn't lose to failure. You lost to comfort. Laziness whispers, take it easy. Discipline whispers, take control. Which voice wins depends on who you feed. Laziness is not rest, it's decay. It's the slow, silent erosion of your potential disguised as comfort. It sneaks into your life quietly, whispering that you've earned a break, that you've done enough for today, that you deserve to relax, while your dreams suffocate behind the walls of hesitation. Rest rebuilds you, but laziness rots you from within. Rest sharpens the blade, but laziness lets it rust. You think you're giving yourself peace, but you're actually burying your hunger, killing your momentum, and teaching your body to forget how to fight. Every moment you sit still when you know you should move, a part of you dies. Every excuse is a slow poison that numbs your fire. You don't see it happening because decay is quiet. It doesn't scream, it whispers. It tells you there's time. It tells you the world can wait, but time doesn't wait. Life doesn't wait. Opportunity doesn't wait. Laziness is the thief that robs your future while you're busy scrolling, sleeping, or waiting for motivation to knock on your door. The truth is, you're not tired, you're disconnected. You've forgotten what it feels like to be alive with purpose. You've replaced motion with comfort, passion with distraction. Your soul is screaming for movement, but you silence it with convenience. Every time you choose comfort over challenge, you dig your own grave a little deeper. Laziness doesn't kill you fast, it kills you slowly, day by day, dream by dream. People think rest is doing nothing. But real rest comes after you've earned it. Real rest feels like victory, not avoidance. Laziness disguises itself as self-care, but it's self-destruction. It tells you to take it easy, to slow down, to wait until you're ready, but you'll never feel ready. Readiness is born in motion, not in waiting. The longer you wait, the heavier everything feels. The longer you avoid, the weaker your spirit becomes. Laziness is not peace, it's paralysis. It freezes your progress while convincing you that you're safe. It's a comfort that costs you everything. You'll never realize how expensive laziness is until you see what it's taken from you, your energy, your time, your belief, your confidence. You'll see others rise while you sit still, and you'll tell yourself stories to make it feel okay. But deep down, you'll know the truth. You'll know you traded greatness for ease. You'll know you could have been more, done more, lived more, but you chose decay over discipline. Laziness doesn't need your permission. It grows every time you let your dreams wait. It feeds on your delay, your hesitation, your maybe tomorrow. It's not a habit, it's a virus, and it spreads through your thoughts until you start defending it. You start calling it rest, balance, self-love, when in reality it's the quiet surrender of your potential. You think you're avoiding pain, but laziness is the deepest pain there is, the pain of never becoming who you were meant to be. Every day you wake up with a chance to rise, and every day you choose comfort, that chance dies. The bed becomes a coffin for your dreams, the couch becomes a cage. The longer you stay still, the heavier your body feels, not because of fatigue, but because of guilt. The body knows when the soul is wasting away. The eyes lose their light, the heart loses its hunger. The fire fades, not because life took it, but because laziness smothered it. You think rest will make you happy, but the truth is, nothing makes you more restless than avoiding your purpose. Nothing drains your energy more than doing nothing. The mind craves progress, the soul craves growth. When you deny it, you rot in silence. The energy you refuse to use turns into frustration. That frustration turns into anxiety. That anxiety turns into self-hate. And it all began with one lie: I'll do it later. Laziness doesn't care about your dreams, it doesn't care about your goals, your family, your future. It only wants one thing: control. And once it has you, it doesn't need to destroy you. It just needs to keep you still, because Motion is life, growth is life, and the moment you stop moving, you start dying. You don't need to lose everything to see it. Just look at the days slipping through your fingers. Look at the ideas you never acted on. Look at the promises you broke to yourself. That's decay. That's what laziness does. It turns potential into regret. You were born with a spark, and laziness is the slow rain that tries to put it out. Every day you either feed your flame or drown it. There is no middle. The longer you wait to fight it, the stronger it becomes. The only cure is action. Even one small step is a victory. Even one act of discipline weakens the decay. The moment you move, you begin to heal. The moment you act, you take your power back. Because motion revives what laziness tried to kill. You don't overcome laziness with words. You destroy it with movement. You don't wait to feel ready. You move and let readiness find you. Every second you move forward, decay loses its grip. Every small effort rebuilds the strength you forgot you had. Laziness is not rest, it's decay. And if you let it stay, it will rot your dreams before they ever breathe. So rise, move, fight, and remind the world you were never born to rust. Motivation fades, discipline endures. Motivation fades, discipline endures. Motivation is firework, bright for a second, gone in the next. It's that rush you feel when you watch a powerful video, hear a great speech, or imagine your dream life for a moment. But then the feeling disappears, and what's left is silence, the silence where real warriors are made. Discipline doesn't care about how you feel. It shows up when the excitement is gone. It doesn't ask for your mood. It demands your action. Motivation is temporary fuel, but discipline is the engine that never stops running. When you rely on motivation, you're a slave to emotion. You only move when you feel inspired, and you stop when life feels heavy. But the truth is, life will always be heavy. Life will always test you, distract you, drain you. That's why discipline is stronger than motivation. It's not emotional, it's a decision. It's the voice that says, do it anyway. It's the power to act when your heart doesn't want to. It's the quiet, consistent grind that builds unshakable strength while the world is sleeping. Motivation gets you started, but discipline keeps you moving when everything inside you screams to stop. The world is full of motivated people who never followed through. Everyone starts strong, but only the disciplined finish, because discipline doesn't chase feelings, it creates results, and those results build belief, and that belief becomes unstoppable momentum. Motivation is the spark, but discipline is the fire that never dies. You can't depend on being inspired every morning. You can't wait for perfect conditions. Some days you'll wake up tired, angry, broken, and still have to show up. Discipline is the art of showing up no matter what. It's brushing off your excuses and standing tall even when no one's watching. It's doing the work quietly, patiently, relentlessly. That's how success is built, not in flashes of motivation, but in years of consistent effort that most people will never see. Motivation is for the moment, discipline is for life. Motivation speaks, but discipline acts. Motivation talks about what could be, discipline builds what will be. When your motivation disappears, your habits are what remain. If you've built the habit of showing up, you'll never be controlled by mood again. Discipline doesn't need applause, it doesn't need validation, it doesn't need hype. It only needs commitment. That's why it wins every single time. The world worships motivation, but it's discipline that changes lives, because motivation is emotion, and emotion is fragile. It breaks when you fail. It vanishes when you're tired. It hides when things get hard. Discipline is loyal, it stays. Through failure, through pain, through darkness. It's the inner soldier that keeps moving forward no matter how many battles it's lost. Discipline is not pretty. It's not exciting. It's repetitive. It's boring, it's lonely, but it's also powerful, because that repetition carves greatness into your character. Motivation may light a spark, but discipline builds an empire. Every great athlete, every visionary, every successful soul built their life on discipline, not on bursts of inspiration. They trained when no one clapped, they worked when no one cared, they sacrificed when others celebrated. That's the price of endurance. That's the difference between dreamers and doers. Dreamers wait for the mood, doers act despite it. Discipline is freedom disguised as struggle. It's the ability to control your impulses instead of being controlled by them. When you chase motivation, you chase feelings, but feelings change. Discipline doesn't chase, it commands. It trains your mind to move even when it doesn't want to. And when you do that long enough, you become unstoppable, because the body follows the mind, and a disciplined mind never quits. Discipline teaches you how to keep promises to yourself, how to show up when no one expects you to, how to be consistent when others give up. That's how champions are built, not by inspiration, but by repetition. Motivation will tell you, I feel like doing it, while discipline whispers, do it anyway. Motivation fades when the pain comes, but discipline feeds on pain. It turns suffering into strength. It transforms failure into fuel. It doesn't avoid difficulty, it hunts it, because it knows that discomfort is the path to dominance. The disciplined don't wait for good days. They create them through effort. They don't depend on inspiration. They depend on commitment. Every day you act with discipline, you add another brick to the foundation of your power. Every time you move when you don't want to, you silence the weak voice inside you. Every moment you choose discipline over comfort, you kill the version of you that settles. Motivation gives you a spark of energy, but discipline gives you control. Motivation is a burst of lightning. Discipline is the steady rising sun. One fades, the other stays. When motivation dies, discipline keeps walking. When failure hits, discipline stands up. When doubt whispers, discipline acts louder. It's the invisible force that separates those who wish from those who win. The reason most people never achieve greatness isn't because they lack motivation. It's because they never learned discipline. They keep chasing the feeling instead of mastering the process. They wait for excitement instead of embracing effort. Discipline is the bridge between goals and results. It's what keeps your hands working when your heart is heavy. It's what builds your dream brick by brick while others wait for a miracle. The secret is not in feeling ready, it's in doing what must be done. Motivation will give you energy, but discipline gives you power. Energy burns out, but power endures. You want to rise, stop waiting to feel it. Stop waiting to be inspired, start acting. Every time you move without motivation, you're training your mind to obey you. You're teaching your emotions who's in charge. That's what strength looks like, not hype, not excitement, but control. Motivation fades, discipline endures, and in the end, it's not the motivated three. Comfort is the enemy of growth. Comfort is the enemy of growth. It looks soft, it feels safe, but it steals everything powerful inside you. Comfort is the silent killer of dreams, the invisible wall that keeps you small while convincing you that you're okay. It doesn't shout or hurt, it just hugs you until you stop moving. It gives you warmth, but it takes your hunger. It gives you peace, but it steals your progress. You think you're resting, but you're rusting. Every time you choose comfort over challenge, you trade your future for temporary ease. Growth doesn't live in comfort. Growth lives in the fire, in the pressure, in the moments that break you open and force you to rebuild stronger. Comfort keeps you where you are. Pain pulls you to where you could be. You can't rise and rest at the same time. You can't evolve by staying safe. Every great transformation comes with discomfort, because pain is the signal that something powerful is being born inside you. The problem with comfort is that it feels good now and kills you later. It's the soft pillow that keeps you asleep when your destiny is calling. It's the voice that says you've done enough when you've barely started. It's the habit of avoiding pain which ends up creating a life full of regret. Comfort is deceptive. It looks like happiness, but it's the slow death of purpose. It convinces you that stillness is peace, but real peace only comes after struggle, after you've faced yourself and conquered what scared you. People waste years chasing a comfortable life, thinking that comfort equals success, but comfort creates weakness. When you avoid struggle, you lose your edge. When you avoid failure, you lose your courage. When you avoid discomfort, you lose the ability to adapt. The strongest people are not born from comfort, they are forged in chaos. They rise because they refuse to stay where it's easy. They understand that pain is not the enemy, stagnation is. Comfort traps you with pleasure and familiarity. It tells you that effort is unnecessary, that growth can wait, that the world will adjust to your pace, but the world doesn't stop for your comfort. It keeps moving, evolving, advancing, and if you stay still long enough, you become irrelevant. Comfort blinds you to what you're capable of. It makes you forget your hunger, your potential, your fire. It replaces your drive with distraction, your focus with fantasy. You start living for comfort instead of purpose, and that's how greatness dies quietly. The truth is, every meaningful thing in life demands discomfort. Growth requires sacrifice. Progress requires struggle. If you want a stronger body, you must break it down. If you want a sharper mind, you must challenge it. If you want a deeper spirit, you must face pain. There is no other way. You cannot evolve by staying comfortable. Comfort is sweet poison. It gives temporary satisfaction, but long-term emptiness. The comfort zone is beautiful, but nothing grows there. You can sit there for years, convincing yourself that you're fine, while your dreams collect dust. You'll start blaming luck, timing, people, but the truth is, comfort is your cage. You built it with excuses, and you decorated it with habits that feel good but keep you stuck. The bars of comfort are invisible, but they're stronger than steel, because they don't hold your body, they hold your mind. You'll never know your true strength until you step into discomfort. You'll never see your power until you put yourself in situations that scare you. Pain is the doorway to potential. Every time you push through discomfort, you expand your capacity. You stop being controlled by fear. You stop being limited by doubt. You become dangerous not because of aggression, but because of self-control. The person who can handle discomfort can handle anything. Comfort keeps you predictable, but growth requires chaos. Comfort keeps you soft, but growth makes you sharp. Comfort tells you to stay safe, but growth demands you take risks. Every great achievement in history was born from people who walked away from comfort. They faced the unknown, embraced the struggle, and built strength from pain. Growth demands discomfort because transformation isn't gentle, it tears. It rebuilds, it reshapes everything you are. When you seek comfort, you live small. When you seek growth, you live real. Comfort makes you numb, growth makes you alive. You will never feel deeply fulfilled living inside your comfort zone because the soul craves challenge. The spirit grows through resistance. That's why the things that scare you are the exact things that will elevate you. Every time you choose challenge over comfort, you step closer to who you're meant to be. The truth no one wants to hear is that comfort and greatness cannot coexist. You can't be extraordinary while living like everyone else. You can't reach new levels while clinging to what's easy. You can't become unstoppable while seeking safety. Growth begins when you stop choosing what feels good and start choosing what builds you. Comfort is easy, but it costs everything. Discomfort is hard, but it gives everything. The pain of growth is temporary. The pain of comfort lasts forever. You will suffer. Either way, the difference is what your suffering produces. The suffering of effort gives you strength. The suffering of comfort gives you regret. Choose wisely, because every day you're either growing or decaying. There is no in-between. Comfort whispers, you've earned it. Growth shouts, you're capable of more. Comfort says, stay safe. Growth says, break through. The choice is always there, ease or evolution. One keeps you asleep, the other wakes you up. Comfort feels good, but it kills the hunger that builds empires. Growth hurts, but it gives birth to a version of you that comfort could never create. The world doesn't need more comfortable people. It needs more people willing to get uncomfortable in pursuit of purpose. Every step into discomfort is a step toward strength. Every time you challenge yourself, you prove that you are more than fear. Comfort is the enemy of growth because it makes you forget who you could become. It promises peace but delivers regret. Growth promises struggle but delivers power. Choose pain, choose to grow, no matter how uncomfortable it feels, because everything you want is waiting beyond your comfort zone. 4. Action destroys excuses. Action destroys excuses. Excuses are born in the space between your thoughts and your movement. The longer you wait, the louder they grow. They whisper reasons, they build walls, they feed your doubt until you believe them. But the moment you move, the noise dies. Excuses cannot survive in motion. They only exist in hesitation. The second you take action, every lie your mind told you starts to crumble, because reality respects effort, not intention. Excuses sound strong when you're sitting still, but they lose power when you stand up. You can think, plan, and talk forever, but until you act, you're feeding your own weakness. Action is the executioner of fear, the destroyer of hesitation, the cure for overthinking. Excuses live in theory. Action lives in truth. You can't argue with results, and results only belong to those who move. Every excuse you've ever told yourself came from fear. fear of failure, fear of judgment, fear of discomfort, but fear is a liar and action exposes it. The first step doesn't need to be perfect, it just needs to exist. Once you move, momentum takes over. Once you start, you realize the monsters in your mind were smaller than they appeared. Excuses lose their voice when you show them proof of what you can do. Action is not about being ready, it's about refusing to stay stuck. You don't need a perfect plan. You need movement. The smallest action beats the grandest intention. While you wait for confidence, someone else is building it through doing. While you think, someone else is executing. Life rewards movement, not hesitation. Excuses will tell you later, but action replies now. The difference between dreamers and doers is not talent, it's movement. Excuses are comfortable because they let you avoid responsibility. They let you blame time, people, circumstances, but every excuse you make is a brick in the wall between you and your destiny, and the only way to tear that wall down is through motion. Every step forward is a strike against your own limitations. You can't think your way out of excuses, you can only move your way out. You say you don't have time, but time bends for those who move. You say you're not ready, but readiness is built through repetition. You say you might fail, but inaction is the ultimate failure. Excuses create paralysis, while action creates possibility. When you move, life moves with you. Doors open, ideas appear, energy returns. Action attracts clarity, but waiting attracts confusion. You don't find direction before you start, you find it because you start. The truth is, most people aren't lazy, they're afraid. Afraid of change, afraid of exposure, afraid of effort. So they hide behind logic and call it reason, but excuses dressed as logic are still lies. You don't need to know everything to begin. You just need to begin. The act of starting breaks the curse of delay. Once you begin, you create proof. Proof destroys doubt. Doubt fuels excuses. The equation is simple: move, and everything that held you back loses power. Excuses are heavy because they live in your mind. Action is light because it lives in the moment. The more you think, the heavier you feel. The more you move, the freer you become. Motion is liberation. Stagnation is prison. Every small act, every small effort is a crack in the cage that excuses built around you. You don't need to take a giant leap, just move an inch, and you'll already be ahead of the millions who never started. Action is truth in motion. You can't fake it. You can't lie through it. You can't talk your way around it. Once you act, your life shifts. The world responds to movement. The universe doesn't reward intentions, it rewards execution. Excuses exist in your head, but results exist in the world. If you want proof, stop speaking and start showing. The reason most people never break free is because they wait to feel ready. But the secret is, readiness doesn't come before action, it's born from it. You act first and confidence follows. You fail first and wisdom follows. You push first and strength follows. Every excuse tells you to wait, but every success begins with the decision not to. When you take action, you take control. You silence the inner voice that keeps you small. You replace doubt with evidence. You stop being the victim of circumstances and become the creator of outcomes. Excuses say, I can't. Action says, watch me. Excuses wait for motivation. Action builds it. Excuses hide behind fear. Action walks through it. Every time you act, you train your brain to stop negotiating with weakness. Inaction feeds regret, but action feeds growth. The cost of waiting is invisible until years pass, and you realize that every excuse was a thief of time. You'll never regret the things you tried and failed at. You'll regret the things you never had the courage to begin. Failure doesn't hurt as much as wondering what could have been. Action turns that question into reality. Action is power. It doesn't care about how you feel. It doesn't need perfect timing. It just needs a decision. Excuses die the moment you decide to move. The moment you start doing, you realize how much time you've wasted doubting. The mind resists what the body can handle. Your thoughts will scream, not yet, but your steps will prove them wrong. You'll never escape excuses by thinking harder. You'll only escape by doing more. Action creates energy. Energy creates consistency. Consistency creates mastery. And mastery destroys every reason you ever had to quit. Every move forward builds evidence that you are capable. Every bit of effort weakens the excuses that held you down. Soon, they won't even sound believable anymore. Because once you've tasted progress, you can never settle for paralysis again. Excuses vanish when confronted with results. The only cure for hesitation is movement. Action doesn't wait for courage. It creates it. The more you act, the stronger you become. The more you move, the quieter fear becomes. Excuses can't breathe in a mind that's focused on doing. Because once motion begins, the war is already won. Action destroys excuses completely, silently, permanently. 5. Your future self is watching you. Your future self is watching you. Every decision you make, every excuse you defend, every opportunity you ignore, your future self is standing in the distance, silently witnessing the life you're building for them. You are shaping that person right now, in this very moment, through your choices, your effort, your discipline, or your lack of it. You are either building a life they will thank you for, or one they will resent you for. You can't escape that truth. The person you become is being written by the actions you take today. Your future self isn't a fantasy. It's a version of you that will either carry pride or regret. It will look back at this exact moment and either say, "Thank you for pushing through," or "Why did you stop?" The difference between those two voices is made by the effort you give when no one's watching. Every second you waste, every dream you postpone, becomes their burden. You think skipping one day doesn't matter, but your future self will feel every one of those skipped days. Every habit you repeat becomes a seed planted in the soil of your destiny. The lazy days grow into frustration. The disciplined days grow into success. You may not see the results now, but your future self will live with the harvest. What you eat, what you learn, what you practice, what you sacrifice, it all compounds. You are building momentum in one direction toward greatness or toward regret. There is no neutral path. You're either preparing your future self to rise or forcing them to crawl through the mess you created. Your future self is counting on you to be stronger today. It's watching you delay your dreams for comfort, watching you trade ambition for distraction, watching you talk about change but never act on it. Every time you procrastinate, your future self whispers, "Please don't do this to me." Because deep down, you know that every wasted minute becomes a wound in your own timeline. Time doesn't disappear, it collects. It builds into the life you'll wake up to years from now. You owe your future self more than empty promises. You owe them health, focus, freedom, purpose. You owe them a life you can be proud of. They shouldn't have to clean up the mess created by your inaction. They shouldn't have to rebuild the body you neglected, the dreams you buried, the opportunities you ignored. Every single day is a brick, and you're either building a fortress or a prison. The choice is yours. When you wake up tired and want to quit, remember your future self is depending on you to keep going. That person is standing at the finish line, waiting for you to deliver the life they deserve. Every step you take toward discipline is a gift to them. Every time you fight your laziness, you make their path easier. Every act of consistency becomes a shield protecting them from regret. You are shaping their reality, even when no one sees your effort. Your future self will either live in pain or power, and that depends on what you're doing right now. If you waste time, they'll live in scarcity. If you stay disciplined, they'll live in abundance. If you quit, they'll live in regret. If you rise, they'll live in pride. Everything you are doing today is a message sent through time, a message that says either I cared enough to fight, or I was too weak to continue. What you do today echoes across the years. Every time you think about skipping a workout, remember the future you who will wish you didn't. Every time you consider giving up, think of version of you who will wish you held on just one more day. Every sacrifice you make today is an act of love for that person. Every act of discipline is an investment that compounds into peace. Because there is no greater reward than looking back and realizing you did not betray yourself. Most people live blind to this truth. They chase comfort now and pray their future self somehow figured it out later, but there is no magic rescue coming. You are the rescue. The decisions you make right now decide whether your future self walks in freedom or drags chains of regret. Life doesn't offer you a better tomorrow. Your actions build it. You can either give your future self excuses or give them excellence. Your future self is not watching with anger. They're watching with hope. They believe you can do more. They believe you can become everything you've ever imagined. They're cheering for you when you're tempted to quit, begging you to stay consistent, reminding you that the pain you feel now is temporary, but the reward is permanent. When you push through the discomfort, when you act despite fear, when you refuse to quit, that's when your future self smiles every morning. Imagine meeting that person. Would they be proud of how you spent your time today? Would they thank you for your choices or curse you for your laziness? You're creating that meeting every single day. The future version of you doesn't appear overnight. They are sculpted through thousands of small moments where you either acted or delayed. Your future self is watching every moment you break your promises. They see the patterns you repeat, the potential you ignore, the hours you waste. But they also see the times you choose effort over excuses. They see your small victories, your silent battles, your quiet persistence. They see everything. You may not realize it now, but one day you'll stand in their shoes, looking back at the version of you who decided everything, and that realization will either fill you with gratitude or with regret so deep you can't breathe. The future you deserves better than your excuses. They deserve your full commitment. They deserve the life you keep dreaming about. Don't wait for the perfect time. It doesn't exist. Every choice you make is creating them right now. You can't control the past, but you own the present, and the present controls everything that comes next. The power is in your hands, and your future self is waiting to see what you'll do with it. The distance between who you are and who you want to be is filled with the actions you're avoiding. Every act of discipline shortens that distance. Every excuse makes it longer. One day you'll wake up in the life you built, not the one you wished for, but the one you earned. And when that day comes, you'll face the reflection of every choice you made. Make sure the person staring back at you is proud. 6. Don't negotiate with laziness. Kill it. Don't negotiate with laziness. Kill it. Laziness is not your friend. It's your silent enemy dressed in comfort. It doesn't argue, it infects. It doesn't attack you loudly. It whispers in your thoughts, convincing you that 5 more minutes won't hurt. But those 5 minutes become hours, those hours become habits, and those habits become the death of everything powerful inside you. You can't reason with laziness because it always lies. It promises peace but gives you regret. It promises rest but delivers decay. Every time you talk to laziness, you lose a piece of your purpose. Laziness doesn't need your permission to take over your life. It just needs your hesitation. The moment you pause, it enters. The moment you think, I'll do it later, it wins. It's a thief that steals not your energy, but your ambition. It wants your fire dimmed, your dreams postponed, your hunger gone. You can't outthink laziness because it knows how to twist your logic against you. It will use comfort as a weapon and logic as a trap. The only way to defeat it is through ruthless action. No debate, no delay, just movement. When you try to negotiate with laziness, you start losing before the fight begins. It's like trying to reason with poison. You can't sip it slowly and expect to survive. You can't manage laziness. You destroy it by refusing to listen to it. The moment you feel it whisper, you stand up, you act, you move, you cut its oxygen with action because laziness can't breathe when you're in motion. The cure to laziness is not motivation, it's war. It's the decision to treat it like an enemy that's trying to kill your destiny. Laziness waits for weakness, that one tired moment, that one bored second, that one comfortable thought. And when you give it space, it multiplies. It tells you you're resting when you're actually retreating. It tells you to take a break when you haven't even started. It disguises itself as self-care when it's really self-sabotage. You can't heal from laziness by being gentle. You must be brutal. You must wake up and act before your mind begins its excuses. You must train yourself to move before you think, because laziness only wins when you hesitate. You can't let laziness talk you out of the life you're meant to live. You can't let it convince you that comfort is success. It wants you to settle, to shrink, to live small. It wants you to survive instead of thrive. Every second you entertain it, you empower it. Every time you say later, you feed it. The more you feed it, the hungrier it becomes. Laziness is like fire. The more you ignore it, the bigger it grows. The moment you confront it, it dies. You have to kill it by doing the opposite of what it tells you. When it says you can do it tomorrow, do it now. When it says it's okay to rest, push harder. When it says you're too tired, remind yourself that energy is created by motion. Every action weakens its grip. Every movement reminds your body that you're in control. Every disciplined moment sharpens your edge and cuts through its lies. Laziness hates discipline because discipline is pure truth in motion. The longer you let laziness live inside you, the more it rewires your brain to accept mediocrity. It makes you comfortable with average, satisfied with small, numb to greatness. You stop chasing progress because you start believing effort is pain instead of power. You start protecting your comfort more than your purpose. And soon, you wake up to a life that feels empty but safe, safe enough to survive, too dead to truly live. That's what laziness does. It kills your passion without killing your pulse. You can't fight laziness with feelings because feelings change. You fight it with commitment, with rituals, with systems that don't care about emotion. You set the alarm and rise no matter what. You do the work even when it's boring. You move even when you don't feel like it. You turn discipline into instinct. That's how you kill laziness, by starving it of negotiation and feeding your mind with consistency. Once you stop arguing with it, it loses its voice. Laziness thrives on comfort, but comfort destroys growth. The harder you push yourself, the quieter it becomes. It can't survive in discomfort. It can't exist in struggle. That's why most people never win. They keep trying to make peace with the thing that's trying to destroy them. They keep waiting for motivation instead of making war with stagnation. You can't live two lives, one of dreams and one of excuses. One has to die. Every time you give into laziness, you kill a version of your future. But every time you fight back, you bring that future closer. Laziness doesn't die in one battle. It dies through repetition, through consistent refusal. You must choke it out daily with discipline, with small victories, with relentless action. You must become so focused that it has no place to hide. Every second of delay is fuel for laziness, but every act of progress is poison to it. You can't reason with what's built to ruin you. You can't compromise with weakness. You can't build strength on the foundation of excuses. You must choose war every single morning. You must rise before your doubt does. You must act before your mind starts negotiating, because once you hesitate, laziness starts whispering again. You've earned a rest, but you haven't earned rest until you've earned results. Rest is reward, not a lifestyle. Laziness wants you to believe that slow death is comfort. It wants you to live in cycles of almost someday, and I'll start soon. Kill it before it kills you. Kill it before it takes your time, your dreams, your identity. Don't listen. Don't delay. Move, act, strike. Replace softness with structure. Replace excuses with execution. Replace comfort with conquest. Because the moment you stop negotiating with laziness, you become unstoppable. You stop living on autopilot and start living with purpose. You stop existing and start evolving. Laziness cannot be managed. It must be murdered. It's not a weakness to fix. It's a parasite to remove. It doesn't deserve understanding. It deserves execution. You owe it nothing. It has already taken enough from you, your days, your potential, your peace. Every second you waste is another second it wins. So draw the line, burn the bridge, kill the laziness before it buries your greatness, because the war isn't with the world. It's with the version of you that keeps saying not yet. And when that version dies, your real life begins.